The first time that I heard about FirstStep was in a very dark moment of my life. I was actually looking for help, and I heard, oh, it's a place called FirstStep that you can call and they can help you with everything you need. Once I get in FirstStep, I see all the things that are possible when you feel helpless. You as a single mom in that moment and having babies, and you don't know what to do or where to go or what to say or who to call. I was pretty much alone here with my babies. And when I get to FirstStep, I feel like I was adopted. Immediately I walk in, I was like, oh, it's a hope now that I have for me and my boys. So immediately we start making a plan for me to become self-sufficient. And that was like, oh my gosh, I wish I would know about this before. So I feel like I had all these people around me that are just pushing me to move forward. So for me, that was like the best thing that happened in my life in those years. Now I am like on my own. I was so afraid at the beginning, but being now on my own and moving forward with my kids, they went to school. I was able to get after school for my kids so I can work. I mean, I have a completely independent life once again. So if I would not be able to get into FirstStep, I don't think I would be able to even get out of home or being able to rebuild my life again. All these people that are having those hard times at home and they think there is no hope for them, they have to think again and they have to look for those help because they are there. Those help are there. You just have to look for them. Like FirstStep is a place that you have to call. You have to just dig about them. If you feel in a situation at home that you cannot handle it anymore, you have to go out there and find the help and change your life, because you don't have to be there. You have to be strong and you can do it, and they have the help to help you to do it. They will help you to move forward. Thank you, FirstStep.
Hi, everybody. I want to welcome you to FirstStep's virtual 2020 You Are the Light Gala. I'm Carolyn Clifford from Channel 7 Action News. And, we all know this year has been a little different, and we all have been challenged to find a new way of working and new strategies to stay safe in this new world of ours. This spirit of resilience, optimism, and commitment to safety is what FirstStep is really all about. FirstStep has been growing, adapting, and working to keep survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault and their families safe since the agency started back in 1978. I am so thrilled that you decided to join us tonight. And even though we can't be together in person as originally planned, I am so confident that you will feel all of the love and support of FirstStep's mission that was poured into this event tonight. Okay, in the next hour or so, we are going to have some fun. We will recognize and celebrate the devotion, the vision, and the generosity and tireless work of FirstStep's staff members, board members, volunteers, donors, and community partners that have made our work possible. We will also hear the stories of survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault who have worked with FirstStep to overcome violence and find peace and happiness. As many of you already know, domestic violence and sexual assault can affect anyone in our community at any time. You've seen me many times at this event. If you've been to our galas, you've heard me talk about my own family, my own mom's story. I'll just briefly tell you, I'm from a really big family. I'm one of 10 kids. My mom raised us all in the city of Detroit. And unfortunately, my biological father was an abuser and abused my own mom. But with God on her side, she managed to escape and started her own business in the city of Detroit. There was no police department. There was no FirstStep for her to walk to and run to, but she did manage to walk away from that abuse, and she kept us all safe, all of her 9 kids, and she adopted a 10th kid. And amazingly, my mom is 90. I call her my hero. So thank God she got out of that situation. So I just believe if my mom can break that cycle and get out of that abuse, anyone can, really, anyone in our community. And with FirstStep on your side, certainly you can do it. So tonight, I would like to encourage all of the viewers out there, pick up your phones right now, pick up your computer or your tablet, get on your social media accounts right now and invite your friends and your family to join us at this event tonight. It's free to watch, and your friends and your family can learn about the important work FirstStep is doing to support survivors in our community. Simply direct anyone interested in joining us to the webpage, should I say. You see it right there on your screen, FirstStep mi.org/gala. Have them do that right now. Certainly an amazing organization. And right now, I'd like to turn the program over to the Executive Director of FirstStep, Lori Kitchen-Bushell. Lori?
On behalf of FirstStep, I would like to thank all the generous donors who made this virtual gala possible. When our June event had to be canceled due to the pandemic, I was worried that we might not have the funds to do what needed to be done to support survivors during this health crisis. But through the incredible kindness and generosity of our donors and volunteers, this event has raised $100,000 so far to help FirstStep continue to provide free services, including emergency shelter, counseling, our 24-hour helpline, community response, advocacy, legal clinics, safety planning, support groups, children's programs, and so much more. I would like to thank the volunteer tri-chairs of this event, Kathy Cronin, Diane Allen, and Janelle Allen. They have been hardworking committee chairs, and thank you to all of the amazing event committee members. In addition, I want to give an extra special thanks to our major sponsors, Karen Wilson-Smith-Bauer, our Luminescence sponsor, who is watching at home tonight with her close family and friends. She is not only our leading sponsor tonight, she is a longtime donor, board member, and volunteer for FirstStep. Thank you so much, Karen. We would also like to give a special thanks to our Brilliance sponsors, Kathy and Jim Proppy, and Bridgewater Interiors, including Elaine Tingle, who is our board chair. And thank you to our Illumination sponsors, Carla O'Malley, Community Financial Credit Union, Masco Corporation, Beaumont Foundation, and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. And to our Radiance sponsor and tri-chair, Janelle Allen. For more information on all our sponsors and their program ads, please refer to your digital program book that was sent electronically to all the attendees who pre-registered. You can also find a copy posted on our FirstStep website. Each and every one of you who has donated or plans to donate tonight is a partner in our work to assist survivors and end domestic and sexual violence in our community. By showing us your compassion, unwavering support, and dedication to FirstStep and this work, you are our FirstStep family. You are ensuring survivors and their families have the support they need when facing, escaping, and healing from domestic and sexual violence. This indescribable year has provided FirstStep with its share of challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic has been very difficult on survivors of violence. The calls to FirstStep's helpline and community response programs are showing us how intense psychological and physical mistreatment can get when people are isolated due to the pandemic. Survivors may be fearful that leaving during this time might put their family at risk of exposure to the coronavirus. We also see the additional difficulties that economic hardship has on its families. Proceeds raised tonight will help FirstStep to continue to offer free support services for survivors, including meeting their extra needs and barriers placed on them from the pandemic. The proceeds from our silent auction are going to our on-site Animals Receiving Kindness Pet Center, so survivors can bring their pets into shelter with them. A special thanks to Elsa Blanc and the ARC Committee for organizing the silent auction and for all you do to ensure survivors do not have to fear for the safety of their pets when they need to flee to shelter. We intended to tell you about FirstStep's services, but instead we decided to show you what we do through this beautiful video, which was created by Kat Nelson. Thank you, Kat and Spalding Decker, for donating their time and talents to highlight the incredible work of the FirstStep family.
I was in an abusive relationship for a very long time, and the last time it happened, I had to go to the hospital, and there was a FirstStep advocate there. I think the biggest thing was when she was there for when I had to talk to the police. Like, I like how it's called FirstStep, because if it weren't for her, I don't think I'd have probably walked right back out. I wasn't ready to do things that I knew I had to do. If FirstStep wasn't there for me, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking to you.
FirstStep is a private nonprofit organization that began as a result of tremendous need. Victims of domestic violence had nowhere to go, and later sexual assault survivors.
We have our residential program, which includes our emergency shelter facility, our ARC, which is Animals Receiving Kindness, so that the animals can come with the families into shelter. And we also have our transitional housing program. We provide counseling and advocacy. We have advocates placed in police departments and court buildings throughout Wayne County who are able to respond when there are reports of domestic violence and sexual assault.
Most survivors come to us by calling our 24-hour helpline. The first thing you're going to hear, hello, this is FirstStep, are you safe? If you're not safe, they're going to help you try to get to a safe place. And then they're going to help you to develop a safety plan and look at how you can keep yourself and your children, if you have children, alive, so that you can take the steps that you need. All those kinds of things are really, really critical. You know, survivors, you know, they don't have to pay a percentage of their income. So all they've got to do is call and ask for help.
When I first came to FirstStep, it was because of my ex-husband. He was emotionally and mentally abusive. I was a part of the advocacy program for me. My older two children got an advocate, and I went through transitional housing. When my children started with the child advocacy program, they were angry. The advocate helped me form ways to explain to them what was going on. They progressively got better. It is very important for them because hopefully they will not fall for the things that I fell for. They will see the red flags before I saw them, and they will not have to put up with the heartache and the pain that I had to put up with. FirstStep actually was able to get me an apartment of my own. I left with nothing. It was mainly just to run, and having FirstStep be able to get me the things that I needed, that meant the world to me.
Anything that you can imagine that would be a barrier for clients, if they name it, if we can see a way we can help them with it, it's done.
A big part of what we do in the children's program is to inform and educate kids about what the causes of violence are and helping them to know that domestic violence, sexual violence, none of that is ever their fault. One of the first things that pops out is our playground in our shelter space, where children are able to have this really uniquely built area where they can play and explore. For kids, it's really important because, you know, maybe they can't be out in the community at a normal park, but they've got this space that, you know, feels safe for them, and they still get to have fun in the same ways that other kids do.
When they're leaving, when they're escaping in the middle of the night to escape violence, what do you do with your dog? What do you do with your cat? What do you do with your kids' hamsters? So we decided that this was an important part. It was a barrier to our families accessing shelter. And so we built a facility right on our site that families could come and they could bring their pets with them. And so it's really just a space where people can go and spend time with their pets because it's healing.
FirstStep is an incredible family, and I am so privileged and so grateful that I get to be a part of it. I get to witness the amazing work of the staff and the volunteers and the donors as they work to fight this in the community. I am asking all of you to continue to give that time, talent, and treasures to this agency because our work is not done and there is still a long road to go for us to eliminate these crimes.
It's definitely a long road after abuse, but First Step helps you take that road. I didn't need to pay an arm and a leg in order for me to survive and be the woman that I am destined to be.
It's life-changing work that this staff is doing. They are saving lives each and every day. And so that, to me, really motivates me every day to stay involved with the organization. And it's easy to get people involved and stay committed when they see really what the impact is on the survivors.
We've been working on this since 1978. As a society, it's really important for us to help people break this cycle of violence so that they can live, can be peaceful. Our motto is peaceful families and safe communities, and that's what we're working to create.
It is so important for donors to promote and support these kind of programs because, first of all, victims don't need to stay victims, they can be survivors. And people that support causes like this help get rid of that victim stigma.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jim Albin. I'm honored to be here on behalf of FirstStep and the amazing work that they do. Before I go any further, I do want to mention one thing. I bring forth to you this evening, other than my talents, and I've been blessed with a career in benefit charity and electioneering, but I also am a former magistrate with the First District Court. I have seen firsthand people that have been affected that have come into the courts, and I can't say enough about FirstStep. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be the second and the third step. So we will have a few different ways that you can show your support. Bid on some amazing packages to help us as we work towards ending domestic and sexual violence as we know it. First, let's start with our text to give. At any time during our program tonight, you can text the phrase YATL, all right, YATL 2020, as in You Are the Light 2020, to the number of 44-321. That's 44-321. And donate your chosen amount. Here's some more information on how to use this platform.
We've set up a text to give feature to make it easier to donate during the event. You can text 44321 with the code YATL2020 to receive a secure link to our donation page. And there you can either choose a set amount or your own donation amount, and then it will take you to a secure payment page where you can choose how you'd like to complete your donation. Thank you.
Additionally, we have some remarkable packages that are available through our silent auction. These packages are open for all of our viewers to bid on. We'll have a short video at this point in time.
First, you're going to go to bit.ly/YATL2020 to view our Bidding for Good auction. If you haven't already made an account to bid, you're going to click Register to Bid and then fill out all of your contact information, including your credit card information that they will have on file so that you can place your bid. Once you have your account all set up, you're going to go back and log in at the top. So once you have an account and you're signed in, you can bid on any of the auction items. If you scroll down and click View All Items, you can see all of the items that we have for our auction. And when you click on one, it will show you pictures of the item as well as a description of what it is. And then you can choose to either bid an exact amount that has to be greater than the next minimum bid, or you can choose to place the maximum amount that you're willing to pay for this item and then the system will automatically place bids up to that amount on your behalf. So once you type in your amount, you're going to click place bid. And then if you ever get outbid, they will automatically send you an email alerting you so that you can go back in and rebid. And then once the auction closes, if you are the winner, we will email you and let you know what the next steps are.
Later on in our program, we will also have a live auction. We'll be using a chat feature. But first, I want to mention to you to view our silent auction packages and to make a bid, just to reiterate, visit bit.ly/YATL2020. Again, bit.ly/YAT2020. That's again for the silent auction packages. The silent auction closes this evening on Eastern time because we don't know, maybe somebody's watching us from outside of the Eastern time zone. We hope so. If you are, welcome. But at 8:30 this evening. Later on in our program, as I mentioned a moment ago, we'll also have a live auction. We'll be using the chat feature to take the live bids on 3 great packages. One package includes a virtual home wine tasting with Master Sommelier Madeleine Treffon, Detroit's First Lady of Wine. Another is a fall weekend away at a beautiful cottage in South Haven, Michigan, which I'm going to expound upon that later because I've been there many, many times. I'll tell you some great places to go to. Third is a private plane ride over Michigan's Lower Peninsula. Now, we're not saying the whole peninsula, okay? You'll hear more about that later. To join us and bid in real time from home or on live auction package items, be sure to make a chat roll account. The chat we will be using to take bids through is located under this video on FirstStep's event page. You can register with your email through your Facebook or Twitter accounts and return to the event page to see the chat and event at the same time. Please remember to use an identifiable username and get ready to send in your bids through the chat here in a few. Now, what I suggest is you use your first name and the first letter of your last name to identify yourself. Again, suggestion, first name, first letter of your last name. I'm excited to, yes, I am excited. I'm so excited, I'm jumping all over here. I'm excited to see the community come together. I really am. And I'm honored again to be a part of this. Thanks for being with us tonight to support such an important mission and meaningful hard work and services for those impacted by violence. Stay tuned for what's to come. Thank you.
You cannot acknowledge FirstStep's 42-year history without acknowledging Karen Wilson Smithbauer. Karen made the lead gift to open the FirstStep Karen Wilson Smithbauer Center in Wayne. Individually and through her foundation, the Karen Colina Wilson Foundation, Karen has ensured the survivors and their children are provided the best support and care on their healing journey. In addition to her financial generosity, Karen has contributed countless hours of time and leadership as a board member and volunteer. It is fitting that our first award be presented tonight has been named the Karen Wilson Smithbauer Legacy Award. So this year, the Karen Wilson Smithbauer Legacy Award goes to, we really need a drum roll, right? Judith Barr, volunteer and former associate director at FirstStep. Judith served as the associate director of programs and clinical staff facility manager at FirstStep from 1989 until her retirement in 2012. Judith spearheaded many important projects for FirstStep, including violence prevention programs, the development, implementation of FirstStep's sexual assault and SANE programs. She provided oversight for the new shelter facility construction project in Wayne, and so much more. You know, there are countless things that you can't even name them all. Judith continues her service to FirstStep as a volunteer and as a donor, and often bringing much needed supplies to donate and even therapy dogs to interact with families at the shelter. She does so much. We present the Karen Wilson Smithbauer Legacy Award to Judith Barr.
Hello, I'm Judith Barr, and I'm this year's recipient of the Legacy Award. I'm a past Associate Director at FirstStep, and I'm going to tell you a brief little story about Martha. We don't have to travel far to be in the presence of amazing women. Many of them are here or have been at FirstStep. I've been here since 1988, off and on, mostly on. I know what it's like to stand in the shadow and beside wise women. I've done it for a long, long time. I know what it's like to be part of a team that accomplishes great things. These women that do these things, I'm going to call Martha. Martha is more than a person. It's a team, a movement, a philosophy, and it's a way of life. We all know Martha. She works and volunteers at FirstStep. Women without who any movement, any event, any program, any occasion wouldn't really happen. Nonprofits thrive because of their Marthas. Who will clean up? Well, Martha will. Who will see that childcare is provided? Martha will. Who will make the calls, send the emails, send the texts? Who will get things done? Martha will. Who will mentor countless women, children, and men? Martha will. Who will become an advocate for the survivors of horrific violence and oppression? Martha will. Who will write the grants, find funding, and start projects? Martha will. Who will choke back tears sitting with a rape survivor in the middle of the night? Martha does that. Who will attend meetings, foster collaborations, build coalitions, and be a voice for the voiceless? Martha will. Who will challenge racism and sexism when the challenge becomes a confrontation? Martha will. She will not back down. Who will work day and night to provide safety and solace to survivors? Martha will. Who will keep hope alive when all seems hopeless? Martha will. Martha can be any age, any color, any size, any religion. Martha can be male or female. The only thing required is that Martha be hardworking, an unsung hero in any movement. She can be both the advance and the rear. She can be outgoing and talkative. She knows how to give and take orders. She gets things done without blinking. In these troubled times, we see Martha everywhere. Thank goodness. She wears a mask and she even makes them too. We know the Marthas of the world. We know their attitude and their character, their temper and their personality, and we know how to encourage or nurture her spirit. We must do this. We identify with Martha. Martha gives us hope. She is us. Martha is all of our legacies, both yours and mine. Martha exists in this sisterhood. There's loyalty, empathy, and kindness in this Martha. We need Marthas today more than ever before. I am so grateful that I lived my legacy and my work at FirstStep. I'm grateful that it tells a meaningful story. I am humbled by the acknowledgement, and I gratefully accept this award. Thank you.
The FirstStep Hope Award is given to a staff member who exemplifies excellence in service to FirstStep's mission and to the movement to end violence, of course. This year's Hope Award is given to John Seedott, FirstStep's maintenance specialist. Very special guy. John began his career as maintenance supervisor at FirstStep in December of 2011. John does all of the repair and maintenance projects at FirstStep, both big and small, from installing training wheels on a child's bike to overseeing new building projects like the playground, from snaking Fisher-Price toys from the plumbing to overseeing the mechanical systems at FirstStep locations. John really does it all. John instills an atmosphere of respect, safety, and security for the residents, and we are so very grateful to his service and, of course, his commitment.
I'm honored to be receiving the Hope Award this year. FirstStep has been a wonderful place to work and be a part of. The work the staff does here is incredible. I began working at FirstStep in December of 2011 after leaving a career at General Motors. I've always loved problem solving and working with my hands, and to be able to do this has been so fulfilling. Though I do not always get to interact with others as some do, I try to make it easier for everyone to do the best they can. My goal has always been to make the environment and the building a place that our employees, clients, and residents can come into. Again, I'm so honored to be thought of in this way and to receive the Hope Award. Thank you very much.
John, and thank you for all that you do. Our next award is the Tillie Award. It's the category where FirstStep showcases an award for outstanding volunteer. This award is given to a volunteer who, through their service, takes positive action that changes the world and inspires others by their example. This prestigious award is named in memory of longtime volunteer Tillie LaFave, who served FirstStep for decades and encouraged 3 generations of her own family, the O'Malley and LaFave families, to engage in the mission of FirstStep. This year's FirstStep Tillie Award for Outstanding Volunteer is being presented to Carolyn Bates. Carolyn began her volunteer service with FirstStep in 2010, organizing donations and the Adopt a Family program. She became a master gardener back in 2011, and she put her talents to use right away at FirstStep, from creating our shelter's welcome garden to recruiting the Plymouth Garden Club to help transform a mud pit into a beautiful gardenscape, to her current project of installing an on-site butterfly garden for our clients, staff, and visitors to admire. Carolyn is the reason we have such a beautiful garden area and other shared spaces, thanks to her outstanding leadership, talents, and commitment.
Hello, my name is Carolyn Bates, and I'm a volunteer at FirstStep. After I retired, I chose to volunteer here because of my own personal experience. Several years ago, I found my world turned upside down, and I needed to get a divorce. With 2 young sons, I didn't know how we would survive on our own. A friend referred me to a women's resource center, where I found an attorney, a counselor, and guidance. I'm very grateful for the help I received, and now I'm giving back to our community by volunteering at FirstStep. While I was healing from my divorce, I would go to places in nature to help me heal. That's why I've been creating garden spaces all around the outside of the shelter. My hope is to develop beautiful spaces where clients can sit and think and help them in their healing process. Next, I would like to thank all the volunteers who are here tonight, who also have given of their time and talent as we celebrate another year of helping people who choose to get out of unhealthy situations to become self-sufficient. And for those of you who are learning about the organization for the first time, please consider either volunteering or donating to FirstStep. It takes all of us working together to continue the mission to help create safe and peaceful communities.
Certainly takes a village, Carolyn. Again, thank you for all that you do. You know, when you walk into a garden, you just feel at peace. So just a wonderful volunteer. Well, tonight we celebrate the successes of FirstStep, our community, and our supporters. Though tonight is joyous, you know that. The work FirstStep does for their clients is certainly not easy. There are tireless nights, emotional days, and many who are in dire need for safety. However, FirstStep also gets the pleasure and honor to help these survivors flourish. So before we begin our live auction tonight, let's take a moment to hear a story from Lori.
There are days where we hear stories that are really, really difficult. But part of the joy I get in my role is I spend a lot of time in the community, and I can't go anywhere without at least one person coming up to me and acknowledging that either them or somebody very close to them has had an experience with our agency. They will never forget what FirstStep did for them. I was leaving the Wayne shelter, and when I was walking out the front door, a woman and her daughter were walking up, and they were coming in to make some clothing donations and some household good donations. And so I stopped and was letting them in. And the woman shared with me that she had been in our shelter several years ago, and she had a hard time remembering where it was. And her daughter, who couldn't have been more than 13 years old, said, "But I remembered exactly where it was." And I know, based off of some of the interaction and conversation that we had, that that was the first time that they felt safe. And they've been safe since. So when there is hard days and there's hard news, there's so many stories like that that are a privilege to hear. And to just have a little bit of my time involved with being able to make sure that that continues to be available in Wayne County and for anybody who needs us is worth getting up for in the morning.
Thank you all for your bids, because we know we're in the middle of this pandemic. We know we're here virtually, and you have to reach deep into your pocket. So we appreciate each and every one of you for your bids tonight. We know how difficult it is for so many families. The struggle is real right now. Now, our next honoree tonight is our Community Leadership Award. This award is designated to a group, team, or partner organization that has gone above and beyond to support survivors of violence in Wayne County. FirstStep's Community Leadership Award goes to Nicole Neal Goodson, President and CEO of Legal Aid and Defender Association, Incorporated. In 2018, Legal Aid and Defender formed a partnership with FirstStep to provide free, holistic, accessible, and high-quality civil legal services to survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking within Wayne, Macomb, and Oakland counties. Funding is provided through the Department of Justice Office on Violence Against Women. This partnership helps survivors achieve physical safety, financial security, long-term independence, well-being, and to end the generational cycle of abuse for families, which is very, very important. Now, I want to say this. Nicole meets with survivors weekly on site at FirstStep. And through this partnership, Legal Aid and Defender has provided legal services to more than 300 survivors. Take a look at this.
I'm extremely honored to be recognized as a Community Partner Honoree for services that Legal Aid and Defender Association and FirstStep provide to survivors. Our partnership helps survivors achieve physical safety, financial security, and well-being to help end the cycle of abuse for families. Since the inception of this partnership in 2018, we have provided free legal services to more than 300 survivors. We have represented survivors in divorce actions, secured PPOs, helped in child support and custody proceedings, driver's license restoration, and housing matters. I am especially proud of the fact that we have successfully secured thousands of dollars in unpaid spousal support, child support, and obtained lump sum payouts for retirement accounts to survivors. These dollars lend specifically into the aim of long-term independence for these families. With that said, I was both surprised and humbled when I learned of this nomination. For me, the work that we do for survivors and their families is not work at all. I consider it an honor to serve them. In my 20-plus years of practicing law in both large and small law firms, the work that I am doing with FirstStep is by far the most rewarding. This work makes a difference. This work counts. This work has renewed my love for the profession. I would not be in a position to serve without the support of all the advocates and staff at FirstStep. I feel like my part in this process is minimal compared to the unwavering commitment and dedication that FirstStep demonstrates daily. They witness survivors through various phases of their journey. And while my legal input lends some solution, the FirstStep advocates and staff are the true MVPs. I thank you again for the honor and look forward to continuing to achieve the mission of this great organization.
Congratulations once again on your Community Leadership Award to Nicole, Neal, Goodson. You know, so many people could not survive without your help in our community, so we certainly appreciate all the work that you do. Next up is our FirstStep Corporate Honoree. This award is given to a business that demonstrated excellence in community service, supporting FirstStep and survivors of violence in our community. This year, FirstStep is pleased to present the Corporate Partner Award to the Masco Corporation. Masco Corporation has supported FirstStep by donating bathtubs and showers and faucets for our shelter, by providing consultation for our capital campaign through volunteer service, and by providing financial support for FirstStep's ARC program and special events. Masco also partners with FirstStep, providing domestic violence prevention education programs and local high school mentoring programs. So take a look at this.
At Masco, we believe that safe homes are fundamental for the growth of family and the community at large. As a global company, we strive to create a world where the basic shelter needs of all are met and everyone has the dignity of stable living conditions. FirstStep is an important partner in this effort in southeastern Michigan, responding to the urgent shelter needs of some of our most vulnerable neighbors and providing a safe place for survivors. Over the past several years, Masco has donated product and provided financial support to FirstStep, including funding for ARC, the animal sanctuary on campus, which ensures victims who decide to leave their homes have the comfort of bringing their pets with them. This is an essential service, as data has shown that so many victims won't leave if it means their pets will be subject to abuse. We want to thank FirstStep for naming us Corporate Partner of the Year, but more importantly, we're thankful for all of the pivotal services FirstStep provides and for letting members of our community know that they are never alone.
Hello, my name is Sarah Rod. I'm a survivor and former client of FirstStep. After escaping my abuse, I wrote a poetry book called My Squeak, My Shout, My Roar. Today I'm going to read you one of my poems. It's called A Twist on Life, and it goes like this. I came into this world screaming. I was surrounded by loved ones who held me and cried. One of the first major accomplishments as a baby was the moment I took my first steps. Another is when I finally learned to speak. Loved ones surrounding me, smiling from cheek to cheek. Little did they know, down the years, I was going to eventually fall into the arms of someone who was willing to take my last breath. Little did I know, I was in for a major test. I watched videos about wars, but I didn't prepare for one in my own home. I watched shows where people called 911, but I didn't know my abuser was going to take my phone. 6 long years of abuse. Blood, bruises, tears. One day, I sat on the hard wooden floor and stared at my mirror. The girl who was staring back at me looked more superior. I had a confession. A swollen face, puffed up in different areas, bloodshot, inflamed blood vessels that surrounded my honey brown eyes. I felt ashamed to look at myself. I was looking at a defeated girl, a nobody. Pale, yellow skin, aged by the war that I was in. A 24-year-old that looked beyond my age. Sad. swollen eyelids dragged down by sadness. With a dry throat, I mumbled, "When will it all be over? When will it all go away? I'm exhausted. Who's that woman staring at me? Dark, defeated, gray. I wonder if she's gone for good." One day, my heart woke up screaming. The same scream I had when I was born. The little girl inside me was reborn. She reminded me how to take my first steps out of that door. Although I was struggling to walk, I told myself, it's something you've done before. I opened that door. My God, the sun looks different when you're free. Although he was clueless, my abuser was sound asleep. I was finally out. I was no longer alone. I was on a journey back to my loved ones, who I called home. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. We had a great time with the live auction. Our text to give, we're right now at that $1,982. Please, let's see if we can break it to $2,000. We'd love that. But we deeply appreciate, thank you from the bottom of my heart and from everybody associated with First Step. We appreciate your generosity so, so much. Lori, I'm going to give the podium to you.
What a remarkable night. It truly touches and moves me to see our community come together to support First Step, our mission, our survivors. We couldn't do this work without you. I want to give a very special thanks to Carolyn Clifford for hosting us tonight and the chairs of this event, Kathy Cronin, Janelle Allen, and Diane Allen. To our talented auctioneer, Jim, thank you so much for all you did for us tonight. To our event committee, and also Elsa Blanc and our art committee who organized the auctions, to Kat Nelson and Spalding D. Decker for producing our videos of First Step survivors and honorees, and to Motown Digital for helping us transfer to the digital platform. We truly could not have done it without their expertise and support. And of course, to our Luminescence sponsor, Karen Wilson-Smithbauer, and our Brilliance sponsors, Kathy and Jim Proppy, and Bridgewater Interiors, and all of our generous sponsors. Thank you so much to our philanthropy team, Teresa, Carrie, Gabrielle, Adriana, and Barb for making this virtual gala possible. And thank you so much to our dedicated staff, especially their resilience under these unique circumstances. Please take a moment to review our program booklet and read about all of our generous sponsors and their wonderful organizations and companies. Our program also shares more information about our awardees and the services we offer. You can find a link to tonight's program on our event page. And one final thanks to all of you who tuned in tonight. We appreciate you and cannot wait for the day we can celebrate together again in person. Thank you. It's the commitment, dedication, and ongoing support to First Step that each of you show that ensures our services remain accessible, are of high quality, and free to all those who need it. No one is immune to violence, and everyone deserves to live a violence-free life. Please continue to donate, get involved, and ensure no survivor is alone when they are taking steps to safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you, Lori. I just want to say, before I give my closing remarks, that we have raised more than $100,000 with tonight's event. So, I mean, that deserves a yes, because, you know, it is a tough time, like I said, in our community, and there's so many people who need help, and First Step is always there giving and responding to keep people safe. So it's so very important. So thank you to everyone who joined us tonight. As always, it's been an incredible event, and though very different than our previous galas, our First Step family has shown up and showered us with love and support, just as they always do, each and every year, for sure. I want to say this. Our evening might be coming to an end, but our work toward ending violence and supporting survivors is not. We will continue to fight against domestic and sexual violence and bring peace and safety to our community. Please continue to share information regarding First Step. Encourage your network to donate through our Text to Give platform, and take a last-minute look at our silent auction items and packages on Bidding for Good. Our silent auction is going to close at 8:30 tonight, and all of the winners from tonight's live and silent auctions will be contacted by a First Step representative to learn of their next steps to receiving their packages. And I just want to say this. You heard me talk about my mom. If you know of somebody who is in the middle of a violent situation, make sure you reach out and give them support, give them a hug, give them what they need. It truly can make a difference. Thank you again to everyone. I hope you have a great and peaceful night.